It is the confidence to know that not every battle deserves your voice. You do not owe explanations to those committed to misunderstanding you. You do not owe reactions to those who provoke you. You do not owe your peace to anyone. The average person reacts instantly. The disciplined person responds selectively. And the powerful person knows when silence speaks louder than words. Every argument requires two participants. Every manipulation requires emotional access. When you withdraw your reaction, the game collapses. There is nothing more unsettling to a manipulator than calm silence. You reclaim your power, and once reclaimed, no one can take it from you again. Silence is not weakness, it is controlled strength that confuses manipulators. It is the quiet force that unsettles those who depend on noise, reaction, and emotional chaos to feel powerful. The moment you choose silence, you step out of their reach. You deny them access to your emotions, your energy, your attention, and without those, they are powerless. Most people never realize this. They believe strength must be loud, visible, aggressive. They believe power must announce itself. But true power never begs to be noticed. It simply exists. Manipulators thrive on reaction. They provoke because provocation gives them control. They criticize because your defense feeds their ego. They push your buttons because every emotional response confirms their influence over you. When you react, you are no longer leading. You are being led. Silence breaks that chain. It stops the flow of emotional fuel. It forces them to face something they fear deeply, a person they cannot control. Silence is discipline. It is the ability to pause when every impulse tells you to speak. It is mastery over emotion, and mastery over emotion is mastery over self. Anyone can react. Anyone can argue. Anyone can defend their pride in the heat of the moment. But it takes strength to remain calm when provoked, to stay composed when misunderstood, to stand firm without explanation. That strength separates leaders from followers, builders from destroyers, winners from the endlessly distracted. When you stay silent, you gain time. Time to think clearly while others are clouded by emotion. Time to observe patterns while others expose intentions. Time to choose the right move instead of the loud one. Silence sharpens awareness. You begin to see who speaks to understand and who speaks to dominate. You begin to notice who respects boundaries and who resents them. You begin to recognize that not every challenge deserves your voice and not every opinion deserves your attention. People who are secure do not fear silence. People who are insecure cannot stand it. Silence forces truth into the open. Without your reaction, manipulators reveal themselves. Their frustration grows. Their tactics escalate. Their weakness becomes visible. You do nothing, and yet everything is exposed. This is why silence is so powerful. It allows reality to speak for itself. Energy is limited. Every successful life is built by those who guard it fiercely. Arguments drain energy. Explanations drain energy. Emotional battles drain energy. Silence preserves it. That preserved energy can be invested into growth, focus, vision, and execution. While others waste their strength trying to win arguments, you use yours to win life. While others chase validation, you build results. While others are busy being heard, you are busy becoming undeniable. Silence does not mean you have nothing to say. It means you know the value of your words. Words spoken from emotion are cheap. Words spoken from clarity are rare. When you speak less, your words carry weight. When you do not react impulsively, people listen when you finally do speak. Silence builds authority. It creates presence. It signals confidence without effort. Those who attempt to undermine you expect resistance. They expect explanations. They expect emotional engagement. Silence disrupts their strategy. It creates uncertainty. It removes leverage. It shifts the power dynamic instantly. You are no longer defending your position. You are standing in it. And nothing is more intimidating than someone who does not feel the need to prove themselves. Silence also protects your inner world. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, plans, or struggles. Speaking less keeps your intentions pure and your focus sharp. It prevents interference. It prevents doubt planted by careless opinions. The strongest plans are often built quietly and revealed only when complete. Loud in 10. Shins attract resistance. Silent execution attracts results. There will be moments when you are misunderstood, moments when silence feels uncomfortable, moments when your ego demands expression. In those moments, remember this truth: your future is more important than your pride. Temporary satisfaction from reacting is never worth long-term damage to focus and direction. Silence keeps you aligned with what truly matters. Power is not found in dominating conversations. Power is found in mastering impulses. Power is found in choosing restraint when reaction would be easier. Power is found in knowing that you do not need to win every exchange to win the war. The calm mind outperforms the loud one every time. When you stay silent, you are not avoiding conflict. You are choosing a higher level of control. You are refusing to be pulled into distractions designed to slow you down. You are signaling to the world that your energy is reserved for purpose, not provocation. That signal is felt, even if it is never spoken. Silence aligns you with strength, patience, and certainty. It places you above emotional games and petty struggles. It keeps you centered while others spiral. And over time, people begin to understand something without you ever saying it out loud. You cannot be shaken, you cannot be controlled, you cannot be manipulated. You move on your own terms, at your own pace, guided by focus rather than noise. Emotional reactions give power to others. Silence cuts their supply. The moment you react emotionally, you hand control of your inner world to someone else. Your anger, your frustration, your need to defend yourself becomes fuel for people who thrive on influence over your state of mind. They may appear confident, dominant, or superior, but their strength is borrowed from your reaction. Take that reaction away, and they are left with nothing to use against you. Most people do not lose power because they are weak. They lose power because they react without awareness. A single emotional response can undo hours of discipline. One careless reaction can expose insecurity, trigger doubt, or invite manipulation. Those who understand this rule early stop giving their emotions away so freely. They realize that self-control is not suppression, it is strategy. Silence interrupts the cycle. It creates a pause where others expect resistance. It removes the reward from provocation. When someone pushes your emotional buttons and gets no response, confusion sets in. Their tactics no longer work. Their sense of control dissolves. They begin to feel the discomfort they intended for you. Silence reverses the direction of pressure. People who manipulate emotions depend on predictability. They study reactions. They wait for anger, fear, or defensiveness. Silence destroys predictability. It denies them feedback. Without feedback, they cannot adjust, escalate, or dominate. This is why silence feels threatening to those who seek power through chaos. It leaves them exposed. Emotional discipline is a rare skill. Most people allow circumstances to decide how they feel. They let words dictate their mood. They let opinions define their value. The disciplined individual refuses this arrangement. They decide in advance that their emotional state is not for sale. Silence becomes their shield, not to hide, but to protect what matters most. When you stay silent, you gain clarity. Emotion clouds judgment. Silence clears it. In the absence of reaction, your mind regains control. You begin to see situations for what they are, not how they feel. You notice motives instead of messages. You recognize patterns instead of getting lost in moments. This clarity is power. Silence also forces responsibility back onto others. When you stop reacting, people are confronted with their own behavior. There is no emotional mirror for them to bounce off, no argument to distract from their intentions, no drama to justify their actions. In silence, truth becomes louder. Many believe that staying silent means losing the argument. In reality, most arguments are already losses the moment they begin. They cost energy, focus, and momentum. Silence avoids the trap entirely. It allows you to conserve strength while others exhaust themselves. Over time, this difference compounds. You grow. They stagnate. Power is not measured by who speaks the loudest. Power is measured by who remains steady when provoked. Anyone can react. Very few can restrain themselves. That restraint creates presence. People feel it. They sense when someone is unmovable, unshaken, and unavailable for emotional games. That presence commands respect without demanding it. Silence does not mean acceptance of disrespect. It means you choose the right moment to respond, or none at all. Not every challenge deserves engagement. Not every attack deserves defense. Selective response is a mark of intelligence. Silence is often the most intelligent response available. Those who cut off emotional supply regain independence. They are no longer pulled into cycles of reaction and regret. They are no longer controlled by the moods of others. They operate from intention, not impulse. This independence is dangerous to anyone who relies on control, because it cannot be negotiated with or intimidated. Silence also strengthens self-trust. Each time you resist reacting, you prove to yourself that you are in control. That proof builds confidence, quiet confidence, the kind that does not need approval, the kind that does not announce itself, the kind that cannot be shaken by words. Over time, people learn that emotional access to you is limited. They either adjust their behavior or remove themselves. Both outcomes are victories. Silence filters your environment. It removes those who feed on reaction and leaves those who respect boundaries. This creates space for growth, focus, and peace. Every reaction is a transaction. You give emotion, they gain power. Silence cancels the transaction. It keeps your energy where it belongs, directed toward progress, purpose, and self-mastery. The more you practice this, the stronger you become. The less you react, the less control others have. In the end, the person who controls their emotions controls their life. Silence is not absence. It is presence under control. It is strength without display. It is power without permission. When emotional reactions no longer feed others, they lose their influence, their leverage, their grip, and you move forward undisturbed, focused, and unshaken. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim authority over your life. The need to explain is often born from fear of being misunderstood, rejected, or judged. It is the habit of seeking permission to exist as you are. The moment you recognize this, everything shifts. You begin to see that constant explanation weakens your position instead of strengthening it. Authority does not ask to be validated. It stands on certainty. Most explanations are not requested out of curiosity. They are demanded as a test of control. When someone asks you to justify your choices, your boundaries, or your direction, they are often deciding whether they can influence you. Every explanation you give invites negotiation. It opens the door for opinions, criticism, and doubt. When you stop explaining, that door closes. People who move with purpose do not pause to convince everyone along the way. They understand that clarity comes from action, not from words. Explaining yourself repeatedly slows momentum. It scatters focus. It places your decisions into the hands of people who do not carry the weight of your consequences. Authority returns when you realize that your life is not a debate. The strongest individuals know this truth early. Not everyone deserves access to your reasoning. Silence around your choices is not secrecy, it is protection. Your vision grows best away from noise. The more you explain, the more you dilute your intent, the less you explain, the more solid your direction becomes. When you stop explaining, you stop performing. You stop bending your truth to make others comfortable. You stop shrinking your ambition to avoid discomfort. You begin to live from alignment instead of approval. That alignment creates stability. People feel it. They sense when someone is no longer seeking validation. Explanations often come from guilt. Guilt for choosing differently. Guilt for prioritizing yourself. Guilt for not following expectations placed on you. But guilt is not a signal of wrongdoing. It is a signal of conditioning. Breaking that conditioning requires restraint. Silence is that restraint. Authority is internal before it is external. You cannot command respect if you doubt your own decisions. Over-explaining is a form of doubt made visible. It communicates uncertainty even when your choice is correct. When you stop explaining, you communicate confidence without saying a word. There will always be people who disagree with your path. Explaining yourself to them does not create understanding, it creates resistance. Some people are not confused. They are invested in you staying the same. Your explanations threaten their comfort. Silence removes their leverage. When you no longer explain, you create boundaries. Clear boundaries do not require justification. They exist to protect focus, energy, and direction. People who respect you will accept them. People who resist them reveal their intentions. Either way, authority is strengthened. The habit of explanation keeps many people stuck. They wait for approval before acting. They delay decisions to soften reactions. They adjust their truth to maintain peace. In doing so, they slowly surrender control of their life. Authority is reclaimed the moment you act without seeking permission. Action speaks louder than explanation. Results silence doubt. Progress answers questions better than words ever could. When people see consistency, they stop asking for reasons. When they see certainty, they stop challenging it. Authority grows naturally when you stay committed to your direction. Stopping explanations also frees mental space. You are no longer rehearsing defenses or justifications. Your mind becomes quieter, sharper, more intentional. That clarity accelerates growth. Decisions become faster. Movement becomes smoother. Confidence becomes grounded. Silence around your choices does not make you arrogant. It makes you grounded. It signals that you trust yourself. That trust changes how you show up. You stand differently. You move differently. You respond differently. Authority is felt, not announced. Those who have reclaimed authority over their lives do not waste time convincing others of their worth. They invest that time in building something meaningful. They let their life speak for itself. They understand that explanations invite debate, but certainty commands respect. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop outsourcing your power. You bring it back home. You become the final authority over your time, your energy, your direction. The noise fades, the distractions fall away, And in that quiet space, strength takes root, focus sharpens, and your life begins to move forward on your terms, steady, intentional, and unchallenged. Your energy is currency. Do not spend it on people who profit from chaos. Every thought you entertain, every reaction you give, every argument you engage in is a transaction. Whether you realize it or not, you are paying with the most valuable resource you possess. Money can be earned again, time can be managed, but energy, once wasted, leaves a permanent mark on your focus, your clarity, and your progress. There are people who live off disorder. They thrive in confusion, drama, and emotional noise. They gain relevance when things are unstable. Your frustration feeds them, your anger validates them, your attention sustains them. Chaos is their business model, and your energy is their eye. Income. The moment you recognize this, you begin to see interactions differently. Not every conversation is innocent. Not every conflict is accidental. Energy spent reacting is energy stolen from creation. Every time you allow yourself to be pulled into unnecessary tension, you delay your own growth. You weaken your momentum. You dilute your vision. The most dangerous drain is not physical exhaustion, but emotional leakage. It happens quietly, daily, through people who bring nothing but disturbance into your life. Strong individuals are not defined by how much they endure, but by what they refuse to tolerate. They understand that protecting energy is an act of self-respect. They do not argue with chaos. They do not explain themselves to confusion. They do not negotiate with negativity. They move away from it. Chaos is loud. Purpose is silent. Chaos demands reaction. Purpose demands focus. You cannot serve both. The moment you choose focus, chaos begins to starve. The moment you stop reacting, those who depend on your reaction feel the loss. They may escalate. They may provoke harder. That is the withdrawal phase. Do not mistake it for importance. It is simply loss of supply. People who profit from chaos want you tired, distracted, and emotionally invested in things that do not matter. A drained person is easy to control. A focused person is dangerous. That is why discipline feels lonely at first. That is why calm feels misunderstood. That is why boundaries offend those who benefit from your lack of them. Every successful path requires ruthless energy management. You cannot build anything meaningful while constantly putting out fires you did not start. You cannot rise while being pulled into low-level emotional battles. You cannot think clearly while surrounded by noise. Choosing where your energy goes is choosing who you become. Silence saves energy. Detachment saves energy. Walking away saves energy. Not everything requires your opinion. Not everyone deserves your access. When you stop feeding chaos, your mind becomes sharper. Decisions become clearer. Confidence becomes grounded. You stop reacting and start directing. Those who are serious about their future learn to treat energy like wealth. They invest it, they protect it, they refuse bad deals. Chaos always offers a bad deal. It promises excitement, but delivers exhaustion. It promises release, but delivers regret. It promises importance, but delivers stagnation. You are not obligated to attend every argument you are invited to. You are not responsible for fixing broken people. You are not required to explain your growth to those committed to staying the same. Every time you disengage from chaos, you make a deposit into your future. The calm person holds the advantage. While others waste strength in emotional storms, you conserve yours. While others react impulsively, you plan deliberately. While others talk endlessly, you execute quietly. This imbalance grows over time. It always favors the disciplined. Your energy determines your trajectory. Spend it on learning. Spend it on building. Spend it on strengthening your mind. Spend it on people who bring clarity, not confusion. People who bring peace, not pressure. People who add direction, not distraction. Chaos will always exist. The difference is whether it has access to you. Once you close that door, life becomes quieter, stronger, and more intentional. Your days feel lighter, your focus deepens, your standards rise, and without announcing it, without arguing, without proving anything, you begin to outgrow the environments and people that once drained you, moving forward with clarity, restraint, and purpose that no amount of chaos can reach. Silence forces truth to surface without argument. The moment words stop, excuses lose their cover and intentions begin to show themselves. Arguments create noise, and noise hides reality. Silence removes the noise. It creates space where truth has no choice but to rise. When stop talking, stop defending, stop reacting, you take away the camouflage people use to conceal who they really are. Most people believe truth is discovered through debate. In reality, debate often protects falsehood. Words are used to distract, manipulate, confuse, and dominate. Those who argue well can appear right even when they are wrong. Silence dismantles this advantage. Without your participation, there is nothing to twist, nothing to deflect, nothing to redirect. What remains is raw behavior, and behavior never lies. Silence changes the power dynamic instantly. The person who is pushing for reaction becomes exposed. Their urgency reveals insecurity. Their aggression reveals weakness. Their persistence reveals motive. You say nothing, yet everything is said. This is why silence feels uncomfortable to those with hidden agendas. It removes their stage. Truth does not need reinforcement. It does not need volume. It does not need emotional force. It stands on consistency. Silence allows consistency to be observed. Over time, patterns become clear. Who respects boundaries? Who seeks control? Who listens? Who manipulates? In the absence of argument, reality organizes itself. When you argue, you share responsibility for confusion. You enter the emotional storm. You lose objectivity. You become part of the problem you are trying to solve. Silence keeps you above it. It allows you to see clearly while others react blindly. That clarity is an advantage few possess. People who rely on deception depend on engagement. They need your words to create openings. They need your emotions to create leverage. Silence denies them both. It starves falsehood. Without attention, it collapses. Without reaction, it fades. Silence also protects your inner balance. Arguments pull you into emotional positions that cloud judgment. Silence keeps your mind steady. From that steadiness, truth becomes easier to recognize. You stop hearing what you want to hear. You start seeing what is actually happening. In silence, contradictions reveal themselves. Stories change. Explanations multiply. Justifications grow longer. Truth remains simple. Silence gives time for these differences to surface naturally. You do not have to accuse. You do not have to confront. Time does the work for you. Many misunderstand silence as surrender. In reality, it is restraint. It is the decision not to interfere with the natural exposure of reality. When you stop interrupting with emotion, the truth finishes speaking on its own. This requires patience. Patience is a form of strength. Silence removes the need to win. The desire to win arguments often blinds people to the truth. Winning becomes more important than understanding. Silence releases that attachment. You no longer need to be right. You only need to be aware. Awareness outlasts victory. Those who are confident in truth do not rush to defend it. They allow it to unfold. They trust consistency over confrontation. They know that arguments create resistance, while silence invites revelation. Over time, truth gains weight. Lies collapse under their own contradictions. Silence also tests character. Those with integrity grow calm and quiet. Those without it grow restless. They fill the space with excuses, pressure, or provocation. This difference becomes obvious. Silence does not create truth, it reveals it. When you choose silence, you stop fueling emotional narratives. You allow facts to speak. You allow actions to define meaning. You remove yourself from unnecessary conflict while gaining deeper understanding. This is not avoidance. It is strategic clarity. Truth is patient. It does not rush. Silence matches its pace. Arguments try to force outcomes. Silence allows outcomes to emerge. This is why those who master silence rarely need to explain themselves. Their understanding is grounded. Their position is stable. In a world addicted to noise, silence becomes a mirror. People see themselves reflected in it. Some walk away. Some expose themselves. Some change. You remain still. And in that stillness, without raising your voice, without proving a point, without engaging in battle, truth rises to the surface on its own, undeniable, unchallenged, and impossible to ignore. Those who seek control fear calm more than confrontation. Confrontation gives them something to push against, something to dominate, something to feed their sense of importance. Calm denies them that opportunity. Calm removes the friction they rely on. It exposes their need to control rather than their ability to lead. The moment you remain steady while they expect resistance, the balance shifts. Control is fueled by reaction. Raised voices, emotional defenses, impulsive words all provide signals that can be exploited. Calm offers no signal. It gives no opening. It creates uncertainty in the mind of someone who depends on predictable responses. They cannot escalate what they cannot disturb. They cannot manipulate what they cannot read. Those who crave control often mask insecurity with intensity. They use pressure to appear strong. They use urgency to create compliance. They use confrontation to force outcomes. Calm dismantles these tactics. It slows the moment. It removes urgency. It refuses to be rushed. In that refusal, their authority weakens. Calm is not passive. It is composed power. It is the ability to stay centered when others are unbalanced. This composure cannot be bullied. It cannot be provoked. It cannot be commanded. People who seek control recognize this immediately. They sense when their influence is limited. That realization unsettles them. When you remain calm, you force others to reveal their intentions. Those who desire cooperation adjust their tone. Those who desire control escalate. The difference becomes obvious. Calm acts as a filter. It separates respect from manipulation. Without a word spoken, you gain clarity. Confrontation allows controllers to play familiar roles: victim, aggressor, authority. Calm disrupts these roles. It creates a space they do not know how to navigate. Without emotional chaos, their strategies collapse. They may attempt to provoke harder. They may question your silence. They may misinterpret calm as weakness. That misunderstanding works in your favor. Calm requires self-mastery. Self-mastery threatens those who rely on dominance. A person who controls their emotions cannot be controlled by others. This independence is perceived as defiance by those who seek obedience. Calm becomes an unspoken boundary. People often mistake calm for indifference. In truth, it is awareness without attachment. It allows you to observe without absorbing. You hear words without being moved by them. You see behavior without reacting to it. This distance protects clarity. Clarity protects power. Those who fear calm will attempt to break it. They raise their voice, they apply pressure, they demand responses. Each attempt reveals desperation. Calm remains unchanged. That contrast grows louder with every failed attempt to provoke reaction. Calm also reclaims time. Confrontation consumes it, calm preserves it. While others exhaust themselves in emotional exchanges, you conserve energy. That energy compounds into focus, patience, and strategic movement. Over time, this difference becomes visible. Leadership is rooted in calm. Authority flows from steadiness. People trust those who are not shaken by conflict. They follow those who remain grounded under pressure. Those who seek control understand this, which is why calm threatens them. It undermines their claim to power. When you respond calmly, you set the tone. You decide the pace. You control the direction. Without asserting dominance, you establish it. Calm does not need permission. It creates presence. Presence commands attention. Control seekers fear losing relevance. Calm removes their stage. There is no drama to perform, no chaos to manage, no emotional leverage to exploit. The environment becomes neutral. In neutrality, manipulation fails. Calm also strengthens internal alignment. You act from intention rather than impulse. You choose responses instead of reacting automatically. This choice creates confidence. Confidence reinforces calm. The cycle strengthens itself. In moments of pressure, calm is a signal to yourself. It reminds you that you are in control of your inner world. That control cannot be taken by force. It must be surrendered. Calm ensures it never is. Those who seek control will always test boundaries. Calm holds them without resistance. It neither invites nor rejects. It simply remains. That presence communicates strength more clearly than confrontation ever could. Over time, people adjust. Some learn respect, some lose interest, some reveal their true nature. You do not have to chase outcomes. Calm allows them to unfold naturally. In a world conditioned to react, calm becomes uncommon. In its rarity, it gains power. Those who depend on control recognize this power immediately, and that recognition unsettles them, because calm cannot be dominated, cannot be rushed, cannot be owned, and cannot be taken away by anyone who does not first possess mastery over themselves. Inner discipline is louder than any verbal defense. It speaks through restraint, consistency, and unwavering control over impulse. While words attempt to convince, discipline proves. While arguments demand attention, discipline commands respect without asking. The world listens differently when your actions are aligned and your reactions are measured. Most people rely on explanation to protect their image. They argue to justify choices. They defend themselves to preserve ego. Inner discipline removes this need entirely. When your behavior is stable and your direction is clear, defense becomes unnecessary. There is nothing to explain when your life reflects intention. Verbal defense is often emotional. Emotion weakens structure. It introduces cracks where doubt can enter. Discipline closes those cracks. It keeps you grounded when accusations arise. It holds your posture steady when pressure increases. Silence backed by discipline carries weight because it is supported by evidence, not emotion. Discipline governs response. It decides when to speak and when to remain silent. This control unsettles those who expect reaction. They look for openings in words. Discipline offers none. It communicates certainty without confrontation. It allows truth to stand without reinforcement. People who lack discipline seek dominance through volume. They speak loudly to cover instability. They argue endlessly to mask uncertainty. Inner discipline exposes this contrast. Calm consistency outperforms loud persuasion. Over time, observers recognize the difference. Discipline builds credibility slowly. Every decision aligned with values adds weight. Every restraint exercised under pressure strengthens presence. This presence cannot be imitated. It is earned. Words may imitate confidence, but discipline embodies it. When challenges arise, discipline holds focus. It prevents distraction. It filters noise. Verbal defense often pulls you into emotional terrain where clarity is lost. Discipline keeps you anchored. From that anchor, you move deliberately rather than react impulsively. Inner discipline also protects energy. Arguments drain it. Defense disperses it. Discipline concentrates it. That concentration fuels progress. While others exhaust themselves proving points, disciplined individuals build results. Results become the ultimate response. Respect is rarely gained through argument. It is gained through consistency. Discipline demonstrates reliability. People learn what to expect from you. Predictability rooted in values creates trust. Trust eliminates the need for defense. Discipline also reveals priorities. When you refuse to engage in meaningless conflict, you signal focus. You show that your time is invested elsewhere. This T signal reshapes how others interact with you. Boundaries are understood without being announced. The disciplined mind recognizes that not every attack requires a response. Silence becomes strategic, not passive. It is backed by confidence built through repetition of right action. This confidence does not waver when challenged. Inner discipline transforms pressure into structure. Where others collapse, disciplined individuals remain composed. This composure is observed. It influences environments. It sets standards. Without speaking, discipline communicates leadership. Defense reacts to the present moment. Discipline is oriented toward the future. It considers long-term impact rather than short-term relief. Choosing discipline over defense preserves direction. Direction compounds into achievement. Those who develop inner discipline rarely feel the urge to justify themselves. Their validation comes from alignment, not approval. This independence is powerful. It cannot be negotiated away. It cannot be shaken by opinion. Discipline also sharpens discernment. You recognize when engagement is useful and when it is wasteful. This discernment saves time and energy. It keeps your path clear. Defense, by contrast, often entangles you in unnecessary complexity. Over time, discipline becomes visible. Others notice consistency. They notice restraint. They notice progress. Words fade in importance. Actions become the message. That message is unmistakable. Inner discipline does not seek to overpower others. It governs the self. This governance creates stability. Stability attracts respect. Respect silences criticism more effectively than any argument ever could. In moments of misunderstanding, discipline holds steady. It allows time to clarify what words cannot. Time reveals patterns. Patterns reveal truth. Discipline trusts this process. When you choose inner discipline, you choose authority over reaction. You become less reactive, more intentional, more composed. Your presence changes, your influence grows. And without raising your voice, without defending your ego, without entering conflict, your discipline speaks for you, steady, undeniable, and far louder than any words you could ever say. Power grows when you choose restraint over reaction. The moment you pause instead of explode, you shift the balance in your favor. Reaction is easy. Reaction is automatic. Reaction belongs to the undisciplined mind. Restraint belongs to those who understand power at its core. Every time you restrain yourself, you step out of chaos and into control. Most people believe power is loud. They think dominance is proven through words, arguments, and emotional force. That belief keeps them weak. Reaction exposes insecurity. It reveals that something outside you has authority over your emotions. The instant someone can provoke you, they control you. Restraint breaks that control. Restraint is not suppression. It is selection. It is the decision to respond only when it serves your purpose. When you react emotionally, you act for the moment. When you restrain yourself, you act for the future. Power always favors the future-focused mind. Reaction feels satisfying for a few seconds. Restraint pays dividends for a lifetime. Reaction gives relief. Restraint builds respect. Reaction creates noise. Restraint creates presence. People may ignore words, but they feel composure. They sense when someone is not easily moved. Every reaction costs energy. Anger drains it. Defensiveness drains it. Explaining drains it. That energy never returns the same. Restraint preserves it. Preserved energy sharpens thinking, strengthens resolve, and fuels execution. Those who grow powerful are not more emotional than others. They are more controlled. Restraint creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, intelligence operates. Judgment improves. Vision clears. While others are trapped in impulse, you gain perspective. Perspective is leverage. Leverage change. Outcomes without force. Those who try to manipulate others depend on reaction. They poke, provoke, criticize, and pressure, waiting for emotional movement. Restraint denies them feedback. Without reaction, their tactics collapse. Confusion replaces confidence. Their urgency increases. Your calm remains unchanged. That contrast is power. Restraint also strengthens identity. When you stop reacting to every opinion, you stop outsourcing your self-worth. You decide who you are instead of allowing circumstances to decide for you. That internal stability is rare. Rarity creates value. Value creates influence. Most conflicts do not require resolution, they require distance. Reaction pulls you closer to problems that were never yours to carry. Restraint creates distance. Distance restores clarity. From clarity, you see which battles matter and which are designed to distract you. Restraint is a sign of self-respect. It says your time, energy, and focus are not available for waste. People treat you differently when they realize emotional access to you is limited. Boundaries no longer need explanation. They are felt. The disciplined individual understands that silence can be an action. Walking away can be a decision. Not responding can be a strategy. These choices are invisible to the impatient mind, but obvious to those who understand power dynamics. Reaction plays the game. Restraint changes the rules. Restraint also builds patience. Patience allows long-term thinking. Long-term thinking builds structures others cannot see until they are complete. While reactive people chase immediate validation, restrained people build foundations. Foundations outlast opinions. You do not need to prove strength by engaging in every challenge. Strength shows in what you ignore. Weakness announces itself through constant defense. Restraint removes the need to defend. Your consistency becomes your answer. Power grows quietly. It compounds through repeated acts of self-control. Each time you choose restraint, you reinforce authority over yourself. Authority over self is the highest form of authority. It cannot be taken. It cannot be challenged. It can only be surrendered. Restraint keeps you aligned with intention instead of impulse. Impulse reacts to the present. Intention builds the future. Those who react live in cycles. Those who restrain themselves create momentum. Momentum changes lives. People will test your restraint. They will mistake it for weakness. Let them. Misinterpretation is often an advantage. While they underestimate you, you sharpen your focus. While they provoke, you progress. While they talk, you build. Restraint is not about avoiding emotion. It is about mastering it. Emotion is a powerful force when directed and destructive when uncontrolled. Restraint gives emotion direction. It turns intensity into drive instead of damage. The calm mind outperforms the reactive one every time. Calm sees opportunities where reaction sees threats. Calm thinks in options where reaction thinks in absolutes. Calm chooses. Reaction is chosen for when you choose restraint, you take ownership of your inner world. No one else decides how you feel when you move or how you respond. That ownership is freedom. Freedom is power in its purest form. Over time, restraint changes your presence. You become harder to shake, harder to manipulate, harder to distract. People sense it without being told. Influence grows naturally from that steadiness. Power does not announce itself. It reveals itself through control. Every restrained response is a quiet victory. Every unreacted provocation is strength gained. And as restraint becomes habit, power stops being something you seek and becomes something you carry, steadily, deliberately, and unmistakably forward. Silence is a strategic move used by those who know their worth. It is not born from fear, uncertainty, or passivity. It is a deliberate choice rooted in understanding that not every word explanati on or argument adds value to life. The person who knows their worth recognizes that energy, focus, and attention are precious resources, and silence is a tool to protect and preserve them. Words can build, but they can also leak power. Silence ensures that strength is retained and directed intentionally. Those who fail to grasp their worth speak to be heard, to defend, or to prove themselves. They react to every provocation, justify every decision, and explain every choice. In doing so, they give power away. Every reaction validates someone else's attempt to influence or control them. Silence, on the other hand, removes that validation. It leaves no opening for manipulation. It signals that authority comes from within, not from external approval. Silence communicates more than words ever could. When you stop explaining yourself, you demonstrate confidence. When you stop defending your decisions, you demonstrate clarity. When you stop reacting emotionally, you demonstrate strength. People notice these qualities instinctively. They feel the presence of someone who does not need to defend or explain their existence. That presence alone is a statement of worth that no argument can overpower. Strategic silence is not avoidance, it is discernment. It allows you to assess situations before committing energy unnecessarily. It provides time to understand motives, intentions, and outcomes. While others rush to speak, react, and defend, the disciplined individual observes. Observation reveals patterns. Observation exposes truth. Observation allows action to be calculated, deliberate, and impactful. Those who depend on chaos fear silence because it disarms them. Their power comes from eliciting reactions, provoking anger, confusion, or frustration. Silence denies them these tools. When you refuse to engage emotionally, they are left without leverage. They become obvious in their intentions. Their strategies falter. Their urgency increases, but your calm remains unshaken. Silence shifts the dynamic in your favor without confrontation. Knowing your worth also means recognizing the difference between what is your responsibility and what is not. Many people exhaust themselves by explaining, justifying, and defending issues that are not theirs to control. Strategic silence is a refusal to assume responsibility for other people's misunderstandings or insecurities. It creates boundaries that cannot be crossed without invitation, preserving mental clarity and emotional stability. Silence also magnifies value. Words can be cheap, repeated, or manipulated, but silence is rare. It carries weight precisely because it is uncommon. The fewer words you use to assert your position, the more impact each one has when it is necessary to speak. Silence creates anticipation. It forces others to listen more carefully. It ensures that when you do act or respond, it is meaningful and decisive. Inner worth manifests as calm consistency. The person who knows their value does not need constant validation or approval. They are not shaken by criticism, misinterpretation, or opposition. Silence reinforces this reality because it demonstrates that power and authority do not rely on external acknowledgement. They rely on internal certainty. This certainty becomes visible to others through posture, demeanor, and restraint. Strategic silence also allows truth to surface naturally. Arguments can cloud clarity. Explanations can distort reality. Reaction can be exploited. Silence exposes both intention and action, forcing authenticity. When you remain silent, people reveal themselves. Their motives, weaknesses, and patterns become visible without confrontation. By stepping back, you allow reality to unfold in its rawest form. Those who master silence understand timing. Speaking at the wrong moment diminishes impact. Speaking in haste creates vulnerability. Silence creates leverage. It provides the advantage of observation, preparation, and precision. Those who wait, who choose restraint, and who act deliberately dominate situations far more effectively than those who rush to respond. Silence is also a shield. It protects energy, focus, and purpose. Every word expended is energy spent. Every reaction given is power handed over. People who know their worth treat these resources like currency. They spend wisely and preserve abundance. Silence ensures that your energy is used for creation, not chaos, for growth, not distraction, and for progress, not defense. The strategic use of silence transforms relationships and environments. People who respect your presence adapt to it. People who seek to manipulate are exposed. People who are genuine are revealed. By withholding reaction and reserving words, you establish boundaries without confrontation, create influence without argument, and communicate strength without effort. Ultimately, silence is not weakness, it is mastery. It demonstrates control over self, over perception, and over circumstance. Those who understand their worth do not need to convince anyone of it. Their presence, actions, and restraint speak volumes. Every silent moment is a declaration of value, a statement of authority, and a reinforcement of personal power. Silence becomes a language understood by those attuned to strength, influence, and true leadership. And in that quiet dominance, the individual who knows their worth moves through the world unshakable, deliberate, and unmatched in force. And so, remember this: true power is not measured by the volume of your voice, the length of your explanations, or the heat of your reactions. It is measured by the strength of your restraint, the clarity of your focus, and the calm certainty with which you move through the world. Every silent choice, every deliberate pause, every moment you refuse to hand over your energy to chaos builds authority that cannot be taken or shaken. Your worth is proven not in arguments won, but in control maintained. Stand firm in your calm. Protect your energy, act with intention, and let your presence speak louder than words ever could. In mastering silence, you master yourself, and in mastering yourself, you reclaim your life,